In this video, we're going to talk about something called the Baluga Theorem. So what in the world is a Baluga Theorem? Well, the Baluga Theorem is a theorem that was devised by a pro poker player where his nickname or screen name was called Beluga Whale, and his actual name is Andrew Seidman, and he's actually written a couple of very popular poker books as well, and he has been a poker coach on some popular poker training sites. Now, with that said, let's talk about this Baluga Theorem because it's very important for you to understand what this is at the microstakes because this holds true at the microstakes. So what it says is that when you face a raise, particularly a check raise on the turn, your opponent is typically never bluffing, and they're typically going to have a set or better. Now, a set, for those of you that don't remember what that term is from our poker terms, that's going to be 3 of a kind. So that's when you have a pocket pair, such as pocket eights, and there's an 8 on the board, that gives you 3 of a kind, and we call that a set. So here's the thing. Why is this important? Why am I talking about this now? Well, because this actually may come up as we go through all the different sections from the pre-flop to the flop and the turn and so forth. And I want to make sure that I talked about this now before we got to that point. And also, you guys may start playing around and experimenting and learning on your own before we get to the turn in the reverse section where we talk about playing turns in reverse. So I want you to understand what this is because this is another area that a lot of people struggle with. I've had lots of students that just don't believe their opponents when they face a raise on the turn. For some reason, people think that their opponents are bluffing them. And I was one of those people. But what I did is I went through my Poker Tracker 4 database, and with one of our other poker coaches, we went through lots of our hands and we filtered it out for when we faced a check raise on the turn. And what we found is that an overwhelming majority of the time, our opponent had a set, 2 pair at minimum, and often a full house. So at the microstakes, when not as many people are bluffing as we actually think that they are, they're actually raising us with a very strong value hand on the turn. And so if you fold to a check raise on the turn with, let's say, top pair, top kicker with ace king with either a pair of kings, a pair of aces, I applaud you because you probably just got yourself out of a very tough situation where if you called, you probably would have lost a lot more money a majority of the time. So anyways, that's the concept of the Baluga Theorem. I just wanted to make sure I introduced it here because we're talking about a lot of these essential concepts now. And as you start progressing your game and practicing and experimenting on your own, when you face these situations, pay attention to what your opponent actually has. So if they show their hand at showdown, if you're able to see what they had, if you called and you were wrong, start tabulating this stuff because over time you're going to find that a majority of the time your opponents just aren't bluffing when not that many people are bluffing at the lower microstakes. So anyways, that's going to conclude our discussion and introduction to the Baluga Theorem. If you have any questions, let me know. If not, thanks for watching and I'll see you guys at the next video. Take care.